The way it currently stands, forced labor, slavery takes precedence over rehabilitation and public safety.
Oh, by the way, while the Biden administration gives reparations to everyone but freed people, look at the billions he has run over to Ukraine.
We don't have black grocery stores because if you think about it now, just to get in that supply chain, it's almost unheard of.
They don't want the truth to get out. Okay? I don't want to know what my family did or what all these people did and all this stuff like that. Okay?
Come on.
You read that 500-page report.
There's this thing called white superiority and black inferiority. That mindset allows all of the behaviors that we've seen across generations, allows for the construction of these policies and practices and systems and structures that continue to oppress us. This is not a handout. This is a debt that is owed.
You know, Allensworth was like the internet of his time in 1904, 1905.
The total black population in California is about 2.6 million, and then of that, the descendants compose about 2.2 million of that. So California, with a multi-billion-dollar surplus, can absolutely afford to satisfy the international terms for reparations, beginning with compensation.
Any financial obstacle that exists that impedes the success of increasing financial prosperity needs to be dealt with and eliminated.
No matter where we've been, no matter what part of this fight we've been in, we've been harmed, and we've had harm done to us specifically.
When I got to Los Angeles, this was some of the worst segregation I'd ever seen. And remember, I'm telling you, I'm from Mississippi.
Because as you can see, I'm giving you broken history right now, you know? But I had to give it to you guys today. I said, no, I got to show them this because it's so precious and nobody really knows about it.
Black people don't have that kind of luxury. Our historically black communities have been redistricted multiple times.
Now listen, if you can't handle the TR rules, don't tune in.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm calling this Super Sunday. We figuring out what we doing on this Super Tuesday, midterm madness with the general election coming up on November 8th. No, I'm ahead of myself. November 8th. So we still have, a couple of weeks?
Yeah, a couple of weeks to get prepared.
All right. But it's Super Sunday for us because we figuring it out.
Exactly. Yeah, just interesting things going on in the world today in the political sphere. And Please chime in if y'all have any information. We'll be going over predominantly the California ballots and some of the other measures here in Sacramento. But we're definitely going to check out what's going on nationwide, see how that's going to affect the nation in general and also the freedmen community, and see what we can do. And
yeah, see what some of these battleground states is looking like.
Exactly. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get the music popping.
All right.
All right. Can you hear it?
I can.
Oh, all right.
All right. So as we all know, there are propositions on the California ballot. Let's take a look at what we have to vote on this election season. I think this one's all you.
All right. Before we go, what's up, Darlene? How you doing? Can you do us a favor, please, family? Let us know if you can hear everything. Can y'all hear us? And the music. Just got to make sure everything's cool for the family before we.
Yeah, I will just say yes because I'm tech checking on my phone as we're doing this, and I hear you loud and clear.
Okay, and the music's not too loud.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so the first proposition here in California is Proposition 1, the guarantee of abortion rights here in the state constitution. All right, just going over some of the things. What would it do? The California Constitution, the ballot measure would amend the California Constitution to enshrine a fundamental right to reproductive freedom. That includes the right to choose to have an abortion and the right to choose or refuse contraceptives. Because these rights are already protected by state law, Proposition 1 is unlikely to have any financial impact on California, unless a court interpreted it as expanding the government's obligation to pay for contraception and abortion procedures, which it already does for low-income residents. What is it on the ballot? There's already a right to privacy guaranteed in the California Constitution, but is not explicitly defined. Historically, language has been understood to preserve reproductive rights, including through a decision by California Supreme Court. Abortion and contraceptive access were later expressly protected in state law. All right. If you want to find any more information, they talk about Roe versus Wade. You can go on to calmatters.org, and the link is actually at the bottom, and it talks about Proposition 1. Some of the supporters are the Abortion Rights Group, League of Women Voters. I'm just gonna highlight a couple of these. Governor Gavin Newsom, Senate President Pro Tem Tony Atkins. Those are some of the supporters, and some of the opponents are California Alliance of Pregnancy Care, Pacific Justice Institute, looks like California Catholic Conference, International Faith-Based Coalition, and California Republican Party.
All right, so that's Proposition 1, and we move on to Proposition 26, to legalize sports betting at tribal casinos. What would it do? Prop 26 would allow tribal casinos in the state's 4 horse racetracks to offer in-person sports betting at racetracks. Sports betting could only be offered to people 21 or older. Age restrictions on sports betting at tribal casinos would need to be negotiated by California's governor and at each tribe, and written into each tribe's contact with the state. But I think they maybe meant to say contract. I don't know. The proposition would also allow tribal casinos to begin offering roulette and dice games, including craps. It taxes sports bets placed on horse race tracks. It doesn't tax tribes, which are sovereign nations, but it requires tribes to reimburse the state for the cost of regulating sports betting. The proposition also creates a new way of enforcing some gaming laws, allowing anyone to bring a lawsuit if they believe the laws are being violated at the state justice department, and the state justice department declines to act. Any penalty and settlement money that results would go to the state. State analysis say the proposition could generate as much as tens of millions annually for the state. It's difficult to know the exact amount for a few reasons. New tribal state compacts, I guess it is compacts, might require tribes to pay more to local governments, for example, and it's unclear how much money will result from the new private lawsuit. The revenue would first be spent on education spending commitments and regulatory costs. If there's any money left over, it would go to the state's discretionary fund, as well as to problem gaming and mental health research and enforcement of gaming rules. Why is it on the ballot? Tribes have long had the exclusive right to offer certain forms of gambling in California, including slot machines and certain card games, such as 21 and Baccarat. But sports betting, besides horse racing, isn't legal in California currently. Since the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that states could legalize sports betting in 2018, 35 states plus Washington, D.C. have made the leap. In California, lawmakers tried to negotiate a deal on sports betting in 2020, but weren't able to work it out in time to get a measure on the ballot. Elsewhere, it's proven popular and lucrative. Americans bet more than $57 billion on sports in 2021. The massive expansion also concerned advocates who say gambling addiction will increase and that research into the long-term effects of legalizing sports betting has fallen short. Two different sports betting measures made it onto the ballot for 2022 election. Prop 27 would allow online sports betting across the state, while Prop 26 would allow in-person sports betting only at tribal casinos and horse race tracks. If both pass, both could go into effect, but in all likelihood, a court would decide. And then again, here are some supporters, 27 tribes and tribal organizations led by tribes with casinos, including Federated Indians, Granton Rancherio, Perchanga Band Indians, Yokoto, Dihe. So all the tribes seem to be on board with them, or at least select tribes. NAACP, California Hawaii State Conference, are also in support of this. Labor leader Dolores Huerta and Communications Workers of America, Lieutenant Governor, Treasurer Fiona Ma, Young Democrats. So it has quite a bit of support, but we have some opponents too. Cities including Clovis, Commerce, Compton, and Huntington Park, California Republican Party, American Federation of State, County and Municipal Employees, California, Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, chapters and local humane societies, and also in opposition, the California Black Chamber of Commerce and California Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. So again, if you're looking for more information, you can head over to Cal Matters. There's a link at the bottom for additional information on these propositions, because they do also go into some of the reasons why people support and propose some of the extended articles. Okay.
All right. Next. Proposition 27. This will allow online sports betting. What would it do? Proposition 27 would allow licensed tribes and gaming companies to offer mobile and online sports betting for adults 21 and older outside Native American tribal lands. Gaming companies such as FanDuel and DraftKings could only offer sports betting if they made a deal with the tribe. The measure creates extremely high thresholds for gaming companies to do business in California, making it all but impossible for smaller gaming companies to compete. The proposition creates a new division within the state's Justice Department to regulate online sports wagering. That definition, or the division, could also decide whether to approve new forms of gambling, such as betting on award shows and video games. Award shows? Really? Wow. How does that work? I mean, video games, maybe, but award shows? I mean, I don't know. I'm just
Could you read that one more time?
It says that division could also decide whether to approve new forms of gambling, okay, such as betting on awards shows and video games. Award shows? Like, really?
I mean, yeah, I mean, like, it was kind of a thing during the Oscar season for you to, pick the Oscar winner, Best Picture. So I could see it.
I mean,
award shows, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know like the term for that for the award shows, but like, couldn't there be some like cheating going on there, or like if they knew like who was gonna win, they could like send it out.
Throw it. I mean, that's in any gambling that you get involved in. So, yeah.
Yeah, kinda, but like if you're talking about like sports, like for the most part, like unless the athlete or the competitor like loses it on purpose, but for the most part, you don't know what's gonna happen. But with award shows, I mean, they already picked the winners like right ahead of time, especially when you talk about the Oscars and the Emmys and all that other stuff. So, I mean, I don't know. That's going to be a little tricky, but
yeah, I'm not trying to put in too many personal interjections on this. I want people to make their own decisions and go out and do the research. But, Proposition 27, I'm not really feeling it.
Yeah. So anyway, let's continue. It also gives the Justice Department additional powers to address illegal sports betting. Tribes and gaming companies would pay fees and taxes to the state that could total several $100 million a year. The actual amount is uncertain, in part because gaming operators are allowed to deduct certain expenses to reduce their tax bill. After covering the state's new regulatory costs, most of the money would be used to address homelessness and for gambling addiction programs, while 15% would go to Native American tribes that aren't involved in sports betting. Let's see here. The U.S. Supreme Court allowed states to legalize sports betting in 2018. Since then, 35 states plus D.C. have made the move. It's proven to be big business. Americans bet more than $57 billion on sports betting in 2021. The explosion of sports betting has also concerned advocates who say that gambling addiction will increase and that research into the long-term effects of legalizing sports betting has fallen short. California lawmakers tried to negotiate a deal on sports betting in 2020, but weren't able to work one out in time to get a measure on the ballot. Then came a rush of groups trying to qualify their own sports betting initiatives for the 2022 election. Ultimately, two different measures made it into the ballot. Prop 27 would allow online sports betting across the state, while Prop 26 would allow in-person sports betting only at tribal casinos and horse race tracks. If both pass, both could go into effect, but in all likelihood, a court would decide. A couple of looks like opponents, or actually let's go to some of the supporters. FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM, and 4 other gaming companies which are funding this measure. Mayors of Fresno, Sacramento, Oakland, and Long Beach. Some homelessness advocates, including Bay Area Community Services and Sacramento Regional Coalition to End Homelessness. Couple of opponents, 50 Native American tribes and tribal organizations, the California Democratic Party, the California Republican Party, Lieutenant Governor Eleni Kanalakis, which, if I'm correct, we're going to be talking about her race. And let's go one more. Homelessness and housing advocates, including Coalition on Homelessness San Francisco and California Coalition for Rural Housing, are some of the opponents. So it's interesting because on one instance you have some homelessness advocates, and then in the opponents you have some homeless and housing advocates. Anyway, we're just giving out the information, family. But yeah,
like I said, swing over to Cal Matters, because they do have some verbiage about support and opposition there that might help you in making an informed decision. All right, we've also got Proposition 28 on the ballot: guarantee funding for arts and music education. What would it do? The measure will require the state to allocate at least 1% of Prop 98 funding, money guaranteed for public schools and community colleges in the state budget for music and arts education. That's estimated to be $1 billion annual set aside. Schools with high proportions of students from low-income households will get more funding. School districts will be required to spend 80% of the new funding on hiring art and music instructors, and they will also have to publish annual reports on how they spend the money. Why is it on the ballot? State law requires instruction of visual and performing arts for grades 1 through 6. For grades 7, 8, schools must offer art classes either during or after school. High school students must take either a year of art, a foreign language, or career and technical education to graduate. But most California high schools require students to take art to align with admissions requirement for the California State University and University of California systems. But when school district budgets are cut during economic downturns, art and music programs are often the first to be downsized. So former Los Angeles Unified Superintendent Austin Eutner said he launched the Prop 28 campaign to turn the arts into a core subject along with math, science, and reading. So supporters on this measure vote yes on 28 committee. The SEIU California, California Democratic Party, local arts organizations, local music and arts education groups. And against it, there is no opposition listed.
All right. Proposition 29, impose new rules on dialysis clinics. What would it do? This measure would require kidney dialysis clinics to have at least one physician, nurse practitioner, or physician assistant with 6 months of relevant experience available on site or, in some cases, via telehealth. It also requires that clinics report infection data to the state, as well as publicly list physicians who have ownership interests of 5% or more in a clinic. The measure also prohibits clinics from closing or reducing services without state approval and from refusing treatment to people based on their insurance type. Why is it on the ballot? This is the third time a labor union, Service Employees International Union, United Healthcare Workers, West, goes after dialysis clinics via the ballot process. The union says it wants to reform the booming industry and increase transparency, while dialysis companies that spent millions to defeat 2 prior measures say it's a union ploy to pressure clinics and organize dialysis workers. There are about 650 dialysis clinics across the state, and about 80,000 Californians receive the life-saving treatment. State analysts estimate that the clinics have total revenue of about $3.5 billion a year, and that 2 private for-profit companies DaVita and Company. Yep, facts. I'm very familiar with them. And Freshness Medical Care own or operate 3/4 of the clinics. Wow. They got a monopoly going there. All right, so some of the supporters are Service Employees International Union, Healthcare Worker Support, the Democratic Party of California, and the Yes on 29 Committee, California Labor Federation. Some of the opponents are DaVita, what are they called? Freshness Medical Care, American Academy of Nephrology PAs, American Nurses Association, California Medical Association, California Chamber of Commerce, California Republican Party.
Yeah, I think this got shot down before, and I know somebody who had worked on the on getting the measure on the ballot, and they just said that they were outmoneyed. The opposition here just outmoneyed them, and I can see from what you just read that that's totally possible. All right. Proposition 30, tax millionaires for electric vehicle program. Prop 30 would impose a 1.75% personal income tax increase on top earning Californians for the share of their income above $2 million per year to fund a suite of climate programs. The goal is to clean up the state's dirty air and help meet ambitious greenhouse gas reduction targets. The proposition creates a new revenue stream to subsidize zero emission vehicles and fund wildfire response and prevention between 3.5 billion to 5 billion annually, growing over time according to state analysts. Most of the money, about 80%, would go towards rebates for people buying zero emission cars and to build more charging stations. Half of that funding will go to low and middle income residents who are disproportionately affected by poor air quality and heavy pollution. The state already spends millions each year on zero emission vehicle programs and dedicated an additional 10 billion over the next 5 years to those programs in this year's budget. A quarter of the tax money would provide funding to hire and train firefighters who are battling increasingly worsening wildfires. On average, the state spends about 2 billion to 4 billion annually putting out fires. Why is it on the ballot? As part of its strategy to address climate change, California has made bold promises to cut emissions to 80% below 1990 levels by 2050 and achieve carbon neutrality by 2045. But transportation remains the largest source of the state's planet warming emissions, representing nearly 50% of California's greenhouse gases. The state won't be able to meet its goals if it can't transition away from fossil fuels. Affordable and efficient electrical vehicles are critical to California's effort to tackle climate change and clean up its polluted air. By 2035, the state plans to ban all new sales of gas-powered cars. The state will also require Lyft and Uber drivers by 2030 to log 90% of their miles in electric vehicles. But for many low middle income residents, purchasing an electric vehicle is still out of reach. Many barriers still exist that make it difficult to obtain an electric vehicle, including low vehicle supply and high cost, lack of enough charging stations, and surging demand. At the same time, the state is increasingly facing more deadly and catastrophic fires, which contribute to air pollution, poor air quality, and worse health outcomes for millions of residents. Some of the supporters on this are CAL FIRE Local, California State Association, Electrical Workers, Unite Here, California Democratic Party. Lyft is in support of this. State Building and Construction Trades Council and the California Environmental Voters No votes are Governor Gavin Newsom says no to this because he'd probably be one of the ones getting taxed. But anyways, California Republican Party, California Teachers Association, California Chamber of Commerce, California Small Business, and State Treasurer Fiona Ma, and also Howard Javis Taxpayers Association. They're all against this millionaire tax program.
Hey, you gotta, put in your share. That's all I know.
Come on now. We're forcing people to get electrical vehicles by 2035, but how's all this going to get funded?
Yeah, I know with the freedman's income. I know a lot of us can't be affording no electrical vehicles. So
right, and as many of us driving for the gig economy, and them mandating the gig economy. So yeah, it definitely needs some additional funding.
For sure. All right, Proposition 31: uphold ban on flavored tobacco products. The referendum will decide whether to overturn a 2020 law that prohibits the sale of some flavored tobacco products. A yes vote upholds the current law. A no vote would strike down the law and allow the sale of flavored tobacco products. The outcome of Prop 31 would impact the state budget because if the law is upheld, the state could lose as much as $100 million on annual tobacco tax revenue from the sale of flavored tobacco. Why is it on the ballot? In 2020, the Democratic-controlled legislature passed and Governor Gavin Newsom signed a law to ban the sale of certain flavored tobacco products, including those made to taste like cotton candy, honey and mango, as well as menthol cigarettes, both in stores and in vending machines. The ban includes flavored cigarettes, e-cigarettes, pods for vape pens, tank-based systems, and chewing tobacco. Sorry, I just intersected. Chewing tobacco anyway. The law does not affect premium handmade cigars, loose leaf tobacco, and hookah tobacco sold by certain hookah tobacco retailers and used at the store. The law was intended to keep flavored tobacco away from kids and teens who report in high numbers that they often started smoking with a flavored product. According to Tobacco Free Kids, youth smokers 12 to 17 use menthol cigarettes more than other age groups. At least 60 cities and countries across California have already banned the sale of some flavored tobacco products and menthol cigarettes. The law has not gone into effect yet because tobacco companies funded and qualified this referendum. Some of the supporters are Yes on 31, Committee, American Lung Association, American Heart Association, SEIU California Campaign for Tobacco Free Kids, California State PTA, California Democratic Party. Some of the opponents are RJ Reynolds Tobacco, No on 31, Committee, American Snuff Company, President of California Hispanic Chambers of Commerce, California Republican Party, President of California Taxpayer Protection Committee, President of Cal Asian Chamber of Commerce, and CEO of Central Valley Business Federation.
Sounds like major government overreach to me.
Boom.
I think we're moving on, so I'll give you a second to get to our next categories that we'll be going over here.
So let's see where we're going. We are going with we're going to the state offices. Let's bounce to the state offices, shall we?
Let's go.
All right, state offices. So we're gonna switch it up a little bit, family here. State offices.
All right, these are our upcoming choices, family. Pay attention.
All right, so in these state offices, the first office is going to be the governor. So the current governor, the incumbent, Gavin Newsom, is running Democrat against Republican Brian Dale. If you want more information on these two, You can go to Cal Matters, look for the governor information, and it will give you more information on both of these. But we just wanted to bring this information to you just to see who's running, and in terms of basically other background information that you may not have known about some of these positions. So anyway, let's get into it. The compensation for the governor is $218,556 plus a mansion in downtown Sacramento and frequent appearances in the national media. Some qualifications for governor. And by the way, family, if you feel like you actually have some of these qualifications, I think you probably have the right as a resident of your state, wherever you are, wherever you're listening to run. Now, we know it costs a lot of money, but you do have the right to do so. Let's go. Management skills: oversee a state bureaucracy of more than 200 agencies and 230,000 workers with an opportunity to reshape policy on everything from oil drilling to parole decisions through appointments to public offices, board and commissions, interjection, and reparations for the U.S. descendants of chattel slavery here in the United States. Let's get back to it. Good with numbers, must annually propose a state spending plan, then negotiate with the legislature to adopt a balanced budget that has grown to more than $200 billion a year. Analytical and decisive, expected to review more than 1,000 bills passed each year by legislatures and sign them into law or veto them. Public speaking and experience: aside from the annual state of the state address, regular duties include press conferences to tout policy priorities, speeches to advocacy groups, and briefings to keep Californians updated during natural disasters. All right, so let's see what's the next one on the list. Let's go to
before we move on, just really quickly, I want to pop a link in the chat.
All right.
Governor Gavin Newsom and challenger Brian Dale will actually be having a debate today on KQED. So there's the YouTube link if you want to watch the debate. I think it's happening at 1 o'clock, and there should be some replays also. So go ahead and grab that link if you're interested in watching later today. I believe 1 o'clock. All right, we can go on.
All right. Did you want to take this one?
Yeah, let's see. What do we have here? This is, let's see here. Lieutenant Governor. Okay, so Ilani Kanalakis is the sitting lieutenant, and then we have the challenger, I believe here, Angela Underwood Jacobs. Looks like folk, if I'm seeing correctly. Let's see. All right, so qualifications for this office. The compensation is $163,917 a year annual salary, plus not entirely unrealistic dreams of becoming the next Gray Davis or Gavin Newsom. So this looks like a jump off position to becoming the next governor if you so choose. So the qualifications: flexible schedule. Oh, flexible schedule, huh? Should be available to step in as acting governor when the governor leaves the state, though as a caretaker, any major actions can be reversed upon the governor's return. Okay, so this is like a vice presidency. Broad interests, responsibilities include voting on boards of California's 3 public higher education systems, serving on the commission that oversees millions of acres of state-owned land. State-owned land, huh? That's what you oversee. And waterways. And leading the Advisory Commission for Economic Development, which does not currently have a quorum of appointees necessary to meet. Special skills: as president of the state senate, presides over the chamber and breaks any tied votes though this never happens now that Democrats hold a supermajority, sets the election date if there's a successful gubernatorial recall petition. All right. So there's that.
Yeah, and just to note, Angela Underwood Jacobs is a Republican, and Eleni Konkolis, who is the incumbent, she's a Democrat. So let's go to the next one. Attorney General Rob Bonta, the Democrat, he's the incumbent, currently the appointed Attorney General of the state of California, going against Republican Nathan Hochman, General Counsel. Some compensation is $189,841 a year, plus well-worn stepping stone to higher office. And let's see the couple of qualifications. Managerial know-how needed to oversee the more than 4,500 employees of the California DOJ, known as the Department of Justice. Deep knowledge of criminal justice policy, police oversight, consumer protection, civil rights enforcement, and environmental regulation. Experience writing clearly and accurately, as you and your staff will be required to pen the title and summary of every statewide ballot measure. Conservative-leaning applicants and encouraged to demonstrate a warm working relationship with law enforcement unions. Progressive-leaning applicants should show affinity with criminal justice reform advocates.
So good old Rob Bonta reminds me I need to holla at him about something.
Yeah. All right, so let's go to the next one.
The controller. So we have Lan Hee Chin and Malia M. Cohen. All right. So are we saying the person on the left, that is the incumbent here?
Yeah, it looks like there's no incumbent.
How do you know that?
Because they usually list them as an incumbent. So this is an open. Yeah.
Okay, so this is an open seat. Okay, so we have an open seat with Lan Hee Chin. Looks like a Republican, and Malia M. Cohen also look like folk there. This position, the compensation is $174,843 a year. And it gives a little more information if you're not afraid to take policy stance, or you're encouraged to apply. Qualifications: fiscal responsibility, writes the checks for state government, about $49 million a year for employee pay, retiree payments, Medi-Cal, personal income tax refunds, and payments to vendors. And Eye for Detail conducts independent audits on how state agencies spend their money. Excellent coordination skills, issues payments to local governments and schools, plus budgeting and accounting guidelines for all 58 counties and more than 4,900 special districts. The ability to multitask, serves on commissions, including public land management and crime victim compensation, finance, and oversight authorities such as the Franchise Tax Board, and on the boards of the nation's two largest public pension funds. Also safeguards unclaimed property, bank accounts, uncashed checks, insurance benefits, wages, stocks, bonds, and safe deposit box contents. All right, so they got the controller of the monies.
Absolutely. Thank you, Miss Queen Cromedy.
Speaking of monies, thank you for the super chat.
Yes, always appreciate that. Thank you, family. And please like, share, and subscribe to Team in the Mass Media Group. Trying to bring the information to the community, to the family, so greatly appreciate that.
Please and thank you.
All right, so what's next? Okay, so we did the controller. Let's see what's next here. Hopefully I got it right. Yep, Secretary of State. So Robert Bernowski, Republican Chief Financial Officer, is running against Dr. Secretary of State Shirley N. Weber, who is the incumbent, appointed California Secretary of State.
I wish I could get to the clap and applause right now.
I know, word. Give her a digital hand clap.
Yeah, I'll do it live. Woo!
Dope. All right. So shout out to Dr. Shirley Ann Weber. I'm sure most of you are familiar with her. So let's go into it. Compensation $163,917 per year. You can go look at California's original constitution in the state archives whenever you want. All right, I guess that's a benefit. Web development skills and design experience are not necessary for this position. Just look at the state's campaign finance web portal, Cal Access. Okay. Cal Matters.
Wow, they got jokes here at Cal Matters, huh?
That's hilarious. All right. So some of the qualifications are ability to juggle multiple 59 responsibilities at once under a non-negotiable deadline, as you will be overseeing elections for the state plus every California county. Data management skills to maintain the state's campaign finance, lobbying, and business records. Conflict resolution skills A+, since the Secretary of State is party to every election-related lawsuit in the state. All right, so there goes the Secretary of State. And let's see who's next on the list.
I know who I'm voting for on that one.
All right. Boom. Treasurer.
Okay, treasurer. We have Jack M. Guerrero, council member, economist, CPA, and then we have the incumbent, Fiona Ma, Democrat. She's currently the state treasurer. Compensation, $174,843. Individuals with a strong work ethic are encouraged to apply, but this may not be a good fit for those looking for a career launchpad. 4 of the last 5 treasurers ran for governor, but none won. Qualifications. An eye for good investments, oversees the state's pooled money investment account, investing money on behalf of the state and local jurisdictions. A collaborative spirit, serves on many boards and commissions, including the state's 2 largest public pension funds, the California Public Employees Retirement System and California State Teachers Retirement System. A strong grasp on the financial needs of the state public work, monitors schools and higher education facilities, transportation projects, parks, and environmental projects. Good judgment on financing, awards low-cost, tax-exempt financing for housing, economic development, and student loans, plus hundreds of millions of dollars in tax credits for affordable housing. Award to who? I gotta holler at Fiona Ma.
Word, what's up? Miss Ma, where's that check?
Cut.
All right.
Check.
All right. Who's next? All right. This is the treasurer. All right.
Yeah.
This is actually kind of fun going over this stuff. I thought it'd be more boring, but I guess you kind of have to make it fun because this stuff is kind of informational.
Yeah, you gotta laugh to keep from crying.
All right, so the next one should be, let me see if I can pull this up real quick, family. Where we at? A lot of stuff here, a lot of stuff. Jeez. Okay, we went lieutenant, state secretary, superintendent. All right, so I can't seem to find,
So this is the treasurer, I think, on our rundown list, insurance commissioner.
Yeah, I'm trying to find that. I thought I had it, but I don't even know where it's at, man.
All right. Well, next one would be superintendent of public instruction.
All right, so we'll do that, and then we'll try to go back to the other one.
Yeah.
All right, Kim, do you mind doing this one so I can find that other slide? And
I got you.
I appreciate it. See, that's what you do. Partner got your back.
All right. So superintendent of public instruction. It looks like there is an incumbent, Tony Thurmond is the incumbent here, and Lance Ray Christensen, compensation $189,841 a year. And it doesn't look like there's any other information about what would make you a good fit for this job. So I guess that's just up for grabs. But the qualification, managerial, you know what I mean. Know-how and need to oversee the more than 27,000 employees in the California Department of Education, deep knowledge of education policy and finances, as well as the need of diverse student groups, experience managing task forces and grant programs, targeting priorities such as Black student achievement and student mental health, progressive leaning.
All right. Not sure what happened.
Hey fam, are y'all still with me? Because I got smooth kicked out of the broadcast. So let's try to get back to it.
All right, I'm back. I had no idea.
I dropped off the stream too for some reason, but I'm back. As soon as I started talking about Black people, I got kicked off.
Yeah, I straight dropped off. I was like, what just happened?
Okay, so we are back to it. So experiencing managing task forces and grant programs targeting priorities such as Black student achievement and student mental health. Progressive learning applicants should push for more school funding, especially for schools in lower income communities, and cultivate alliances with teachers and staff unions. Conservative leaning applicants should advocate for school choice and support charter schools. All right, it looks like we have Tony Thurmond in there doing the job right now.
Oh man, so real quick, I'm gonna post this up. It says, "We hear you. The kicking out is happening to us in other spaces too." Figure, right? We just really trying to bring some information to the family, and here you go.
The struggle is real.
Struggle is super real. All right, so let's go back. I actually did find that slide. So the insurance commissioner. The current incumbent is Ricardo Laura, and he's a Democrat, and Robert Howell is a Republican, cybersecurity equipment manufacturer. Let's get into it. Compensation $174,843 a year, plus the opportunity to direct save California's money or take the heat when rates go up. Qualifications: can effectively manage the nearly 1,400 employees of the Department of Insurance, is willing to work on policies that most people don't want to think about until something really bad happens, has the ability to wrangle the interests of homeowners in wildfire-prone areas with those of the companies that see insuring those properties as a losing proposition. Duties include guiding the department to approve rate increases when financial necessary, making sure insurers treat consumers fairly, and ensuring that companies have enough money to pay out promised coverage. All right. So let's see what's next. And I think the insurance commissioner, doesn't he have like, I think he was, I could be wrong, but I think that was like something to do with they have like archives on like enslaved people, or at least insurance companies that profited from enslavement, I think.
I don't know. I'll have to do some additional research on that. And it looks like I got to put Ricardo Lara on my list of people I need to speak with.
For sure. All right. So let's see who's next, which would be superintendent. And I'll let you roll with that one, fam.
I just did this one.
Okay, good. Got that knocked out. The Board of Equalization.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did we do the Board of Equalization?
No, not yet.
All right, cool. Did you want me to take this one?
Yeah, you can go ahead. It looks like there's a lot going on here.
All right, so there's currently, let's see. Hold on a second. All right, so before we actually get into the Board of Equalization, there's a couple of districts. There's actually 4 currently here in California, and you can take a look at. If you go on to this voterguide.sos.ca.gov, you should be able to find out which districts are in District 1, District 2, District 3, and District 4 throughout California. But let's go into who's applying for and running for the state offices in the Board of Equalization. Let's go into qualifications and compensation first. So compensation is $162,917 per year, a relatively low stress job while you plan your next run for office, be it for governor, state controller, or treasurer. Must be nice, low stress. Qualifications: sufficiently detail oriented to oversee and occasionally audit the state's 58 county assessors' offices to ensure they're taxing property the right way. Conflict resolution skills A+, as you will be the person that insurance companies, liquor distributors, utilities, and ticked off taxpayers. That's what it says. Didn't say that, interjection. Of taxpayers in the state complains to when they have a beef with their tax bill. Post 2017 update: willingness to share and be a team player, since most of the board's actual responsibilities have been given to other agencies. Some of the applicants are in District 1, Jose S. Altamirano, the incumbent Ted Gaines, Republican. Jose S. Altamirano is a Democrat. District 2, Democrat Sally J. Lieber, Councilwoman, environmental advocate. Peter Koverbica is a Republican, investment advisor. District 3, Y. Marie Manville, Social Services Commissioner. I don't know what the N stands for, so I don't know what neutral or something, but anyway. Tony Vasquez, Democrat Board of Equalization member. District 4, David Dotson, Democrat State Board Supervisor. Mike Schaefer, Democrat member, State Board of Equalization for District. So what's next on the list? All right.
A lot of people putting their hat in for this kickback cush job.
For sure. Trying to find the slide next for the just a lot of stuff going on.
Supreme Court.
Yeah, Yeah, let me upload that one real quick because I don't know even what happened because we put a lot of stuff up in here.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, family.
A lot going on. Let's see. Do we have? Man, I don't even know if I did the Supreme Court, to be honest with you. I'm sorry, fam. There's a lot going on here. County, state, Senate, and I don't think.
No Supreme Court. Well, anybody out there, if you know who is running on the Supreme Court or what's going on with the California Supreme Court, please let us know.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna go ahead and I'll get to the Supreme Court. I'll pull up the link because I think it's definitely important that we know who's in the Supreme Court. But in the meantime, we'll go to the next one. U.S. Senate.
All right, I'll see if I can go back and find that information on the U.S. Senate. Thanks for bearing with us, family.
Thanks,
there is a lot
jumping
to get through here. All right, so the U.S. Senate. All right, so get a lot of our information off Ballotpedia here. There's a link if you want additional information, but basically the U.S. Senate races, we'll start with the seats that are up for election. There are 14 seats held by Democrats and 20 held by Republicans are up for regular election in 2022. The map below shows what seats are up for election, the incumbent heading into the election in each state, whether each seat is open, recent Senate and presidential election margins of victory, and race ratings. You can find this information in table form just below the map. So if you go to the link above, you can also toggle over some of these states to get that additional information. If you see your state lit up on this map, that means that there is that Senate seats are up for grabs in your state. So we focused on, in this passage that I read said 20 and 14, so that's 34 seats up for grab in total. Let's see here. And we are just highlighting on the battleground states here because there's a lot to weed through. Again, national highlights, battlegrounds. Ohio is one of those. Ballotpedia has identified 11 races as general election battlegrounds. Of the 11 seats, 4 have Democratic incumbents, 7 have Republican incumbents heading into the election. There are 35 U.S. Senate seats up for election in 2022, 14 seats held by Democrats and 21 held by Republicans. So the battleground states that we decided to focus on are, well, we'll just run through the battleground states that Ballotpedia identified, and that's Alaska, Arizona, Florida, Georgia, Missouri, Nevada, New Hampshire, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. The ones we decided to focus on, thinking that that's where our folk are primarily at, are Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. If there's another battleground state that should be focused on for the Senate seats, just drop it in the chat and let us know. All right, so we will start with Georgia. We have Raphael Warnock and Herschel Walker as running as the Republican. And I'm not going to read through all of their bios. You can go to Ballotpedia to read up on the U.S. Senate battlegrounds. You can just type that information in or take a screenshot of the link below, and it will lead you directly to it. Another person running in this race under the Libertarian Party is a Chase Oliver. So if you're out in there in Georgia, those are your choices for Senate seat. And then we also have North Carolina. Looks like we have Democrat running is Cheryl Beasley, and she looks like folk there. Also, Ted Budd is running on the Republican ticket. Incumbent, neither one of them are incumbent, so this is an open seat. Then we have some outliers. Shannon Bray running for the Libertarian Party, Matthew Ho running for the Green Party, and we have another independent down here, Michelle Lewis. And again, if you want more information on these people, you can go directly to the site or take a screenshot. There is some information from their bios listed on these slides here. All right, up next, we have Pennsylvania. Let's see, we have a Democrat running, a John Fetterman. He's not an incumbent. We also have a Mehmet Oz, otherwise known, AKA Dr. Oz, running on the Republican Party ticket. Neither of them are incumbents. And we also have Richard Weiss running for the Green Party. We have a Ronald Johnson running for the Constitution Party. And we have an Everett Stern running as an independent. And Everett Stern, his bio is kind of interesting. If you wanted to go take a look at it, he's some kind of a whistleblower on the CIA. Crazy. And we also have Ohio. And there's only two running in this Ohio race for the Senate seat. A Tim Ryan, Democratic Party, not an incumbent, and a J.D. Vance, also not an incumbent, running for the Republican Party. It looks like their race was relatively close in the primaries down here. We have Vance at 50%, and Ryan at 45%. So a tight race there in Ohio for the Senate seat that is up for grabs. And then we come to Florida. Everybody and their mama is running in this one because they're like, we got to do something about Marco Rubio. But Marco Rubio is the incumbent in Florida. Republican Party. Then we have Val Deming running on the Democratic ticket. We also have, no party affiliation as Stephen B. Grant. Then we have the Libertarian Party, a Dennis Mizogloy or something like that. Then we have, Mr. Twin Wynn is running, no party affiliation. We have a Ulama Equity running, no party affiliation. And Edward A. Gray, no party affiliation. And a Marcus Wills, no party affiliation. So your two front runners here are Marco Rubio and Val Deming.
Yeah, it's interesting how many no party affiliated applicants are running.
You think that'll ever catch on and gain some traction? People get behind their preferred candidate?
Yep.
Party be damned.
Shout out to Angela. Nirvana, yeah, for sure. I'll let you go through a couple more lists, and then I'll go ahead and share my screen for the California states.
A couple more lists of what?
You have a couple more slides for the Senate races, or?
I'm done with the national Senate for now. Okay. Yeah.
All right, let me just go ahead and share my screen real quick, and then I'll go ahead and we'll continue.
Okay.
With some other things. So let's see here. All right, fam. Do you mind getting rid of the slide so I can?
Voila.
Boom. Okay. Here we go. State Supreme Court. The state of California is asking voters to decide whether to keep 3 California Supreme Court justices. Voters will also weigh in on Governor Gavin Newsom's nomination of current Associate Justice Patricia Guerrero to replace Chief Justice Tani Cantil-Saccavi, who was announced September 28th as president and CEO of the Public Policy Institute of California as of January 1st. Qualifications: a legal career, at least a credential. Justices must be a member of the State Bar of California or a California judge for at least 10 years. Political acumen: all justices are appointed or nominated by a governor and confirmed by the Commission on Judicial Appointments. While the job is nonpartisan, justices are often politically savvy. For example, Justices Joshua Groban and Martin Jenkins were appointed in the High Court by their former bosses, then Governor Jerry Brown and Newsom, respectively. A love for reading, writing, and listening. The California Supreme Court reviews lower state court decisions, decides legal questions, and maintains uniformity in the law. The 7 justices also review all death penalty cases, which by law are automatically appealed from the trial court to the Supreme Court. Compensation: associate justices' salaries typically start at $274,732 per year. To decide important legal questions, the chief justice's salary range starts at $288,100 per year. To lead California's judicial branch, including serving as chairperson of the Judicial Council of the Commission of Judicial Appointments. Chief Justice applicant is Patricia Guerrero. Associate Justice applicants Joshua P. Groban, Martin J. Jenkins, and Goodwin Liu. So I'm gonna stop sharing.
So we vote on these people?
Let's see. Let me just confirm. It's asking voters. Yeah, I guess we do. The state of California is asking voters to decide whether to keep 3 California Supreme Court justices.
Whether to keep them. Okay. Right. So California Supreme Court obviously is not a lifetime appointment. I mean, is that how the job works? You get voted on whether they keep you after a predetermined amount of time?
That's a good question. I don't know that answer here. Let's see.
And the reason I asked, because out in Ohio, I just read a story recently where they are removing a Black judge, they said, for misconduct, several instances of misconduct. So they're removing her. I mean, couldn't they just vote her out when the time's up? Or maybe, different states have different procedures. We just still trying to figure out what's going on out here in California.
Well, yeah, I mean, according to in this article, it says now voters have to approve her before she can be sworn in January as the first Latina Chief Justice in California history. If voters reject her, Newsom would have to appoint a Chief Justice. So once the governor then appoints the Supreme Court justice, then the voters have to vote this person in.
One person, and then the other 3 were voting on whether they get to stay.
According to this, yes, as voters will also weigh in on Governor Gavin Newsom's nomination of current Associate Justice Patricia to replace Chief Jan as president of. So the state of California is asking voters to decide whether to keep 3 California Supreme Court justices. Yep.
Okay. So, and then vote one in to be sworn, which would be the first Latina Supreme Court justice in California.
Right. So here's the Chief Justice would be Patricia Guerrero, and then the Associate Justices would be Joshua P. Groban, Martin J. Jenkins, and Goodwin Liu.
All right, so we definitely have some further research to do on the Supreme Court nominations
very important.
Judges. Yeah, I mean, because we can see how the the Black Brown coalition worked out in LA with the first Latina council president.
Man, what happened with that debacle? Jesus. I think there's still little interjection. Aren't they still waiting for those two? I can't remember their names.
Kevin De Leon and then Gail something or another, Cedillo or something like that. Yeah. But I don't know that if the other one, the Cedillo guy, came out and made any statements that Kevin De Leon said he ain't going nowhere. So
he's like, I'm posting up.
I'm posted.
All right, fam. So we're gonna get back to it. Let's see what we're going here. I think you were at Florida, right?
Yeah, but like I said, that was the last one that we had highlighted in the battleground states. So,
so do you want to go to California State Senate, or what are we
I was just going to say, if we didn't touch on your state in the battleground state and you're watching, again, here is the map of where all Senate seats are up for grabs. So you can also check that out. And so that's what we want to do. Go on to the California Senate, or do we want to touch on? Yeah, I guess let's go to California.
Yeah, let's since we're talking about the Senate, let's keep on the Senate.
Oh, okay, let's keep.
Don't want to confuse us and the people watching.
Yeah, that's
be like,
true.
Man, where they going?
That's true. That's true. Okay, so California also has a state senate. Let me see if I can remember correctly. I believe 40. There are 40 seats in the California State Senate, and every 2 years, half of those are open. So now we're just looking at the half that are open, and it looks like the way that they do it is by odd or even. So first we're going to be looking at districts 2 and 4, and then 6 and 8, and so on and so on. So the California State Senate, starting with districts 2 and 4, we have Mike Maguera, and he is an incumbent. You'll be able to tell the incumbents because those are bolded and underlined. So a Democrat incumbent in District 2, and then we have a Jean Yoon, who is a Republican, also running for District 2. If District 2 is your district, this is who you will be voting on in the upcoming November 8th election. District 2 encompasses like parts of Marin County, Del Norte, Mendocino, Humboldt, Lake, Trinity, and Sonoma counties. In District 4, if you're in District 4, you will be voting on Marie Alvarado Gill, a Democrat, and Tim Robinson. And as you can see, there's no bolded underline, so there is no incumbent in this race. And this race covers District 4 covers part of Sacramento, Placer, Sutter, Butte, Glen, Yuba, Colusa, and Tahoma County. And there are a couple links at the bottom if you want to take a look at those. That's where you can find all of the seats that are up for re-election at the ballotpedia.org, California State Senate link. And the link above that is a link to maps of these districts if you're still trying to figure out, which district you're in. All right, so that's District 2 and 4. And we also have District 6 and 8. And District 6, no. I was going to say I'm still trying to figure out my District 2, but that's not me. General District 2, we have Paula Marie Velasquez and a Roger Nilo. There's no incumbent there. District 6 does cover part of Yolo and Sacramento. And also District 8, Angela Ashby and Dave Jones. Now, I know this one is on my ballot. Sacramento, Madera, Fresno, Mariposa, Mono County, Stanislaus, Tuolumne County, Amador, and Calaveras are part of District aid. So again, and then I know I'm going to cast my vote, doing my research, but just being out here in the belly of the beast. I mean, I already have predisposed feelings about some of these candidates, and in researching any of these California Senate seat candidates, I did not see anybody who had reparations on their platform, but I do know journalists who interviewed Dave Jones, a personal friend, and he said that he just started chopping it up with him about reparations, and he seemed to be for it. Like I said, it wasn't on his platform, but at least giving lip service, he says he's for it. So, I mean, we just have to hold these people accountable. Maybe I'll send each of them a little note before the election and see what their stance on reparations is. All right, so let's get through this. We've also got District 10 and 12. So we have a Lily Mai and a Aisha Wahab in District 10. That's Santa Clara and Alameda County. District 12, we have a Shannon Grove Republican and a Susan Gundy, a Democrat. And that covers part of Stanislaus, Monterey, Fresno, San Benito, Madeira, and Merced. District 10 and 12. We also have District 14 and 16. 14 and 16 looks like they both have incumbents. The incumbent in District 14 is Anna Caballero, and that's a Democrat. And then we also have Amon Shore as the Republican. District 14 covers parts of Fresno, Tulare, Kern, and Kings. District 16, the incumbent is Melissa Hurtado, a Democrat. And David Shepard, a Republican, is the opponent for District 16, which covers Tulare, Kern, and San Bernardino. All right, so we also have Districts 18 and 20 seats open. There's no incumbent on either of these. So District 18, we have Steve Padilla and Alejandro Galicia. San Fernando and Los Angeles. District 8 covers portions of those regions. And then we have District 20, Daniel Hertzberg and Carolyn Minajarvar in San Bernardino and Los Angeles covers parts of those regions.
You're doing a great job. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So moving on to District 22 and 24. District 22 and 24, we have an incumbent, Susan Rubio, in District 22, and a challenger, Vincent Tsai, a Republican. In this District 22 covers Los Angeles. District 24 also covers Los Angeles. We have an incumbent, Ben Allen, a Democrat, and a Christina Irwin in Los Angeles for District 24. Also up, we have Districts 26 and 28. And we have an incumbent for District 26, Maria Elena Durazo, a Democrat, and Claudia Argraz is the Republican candidate, also covers Los Angeles. And then District 28, we have Lola Smallwood Cuevas, a Democrat, and Cheryl Turner, also a Democrat. And both of them, from their pictures at least, look like folk. And that covers Riverside County, parts of Los Angeles as well. Okay. So we have Districts 30 and 32. 30 covers Los Angeles, and we have a Barb Archuleta, the Democrat, is the current incumbent. Challenger is Mitch Clemens, Republican. Again, that's District 30, Los Angeles. And we have District 32, also Los Angeles, Brian Nash and Kelly Serrato. So Brian Nash, neither one of this has an incumbent. Brian Nash is the Democrat and Kelly Serrato is the Republican. All right. Then we've got 34 and 36 districts. 34, we do have an incumbent, Tom Umberg, Democrat, and challenger Rhonda Sander, Republican, Los Angeles and Orange counties. And District 36, no incumbent here. We have a Kim Carr running on the Democratic ticket and a Janet Nguyen running on the Republican ticket. This county 36, or this District 36 covers parts of Orange and San Diego counties. And lastly, in the California Senate seats that are up for grabs, we have District 38, which covers parts of San Diego. We have a Catherine Blakespear and a Matt Gunderson. Catherine is a Democrat. Matt is a Republican. Neither of them are incumbents. And then we have District 40, which covers parts of San Diego and Imperial. We have incumbent Brian Jones, a Republican, and challenger Joseph Roca, a Democrat. So those are your Senate seat options. If you want to do more research on these people, Ballotpedia has an entire section dedicated to California state Senate elections.
Did we do the U.S. Senate or no?
I did do the U.S. Senate.
I think you did national, but did we do U.S. representatives for California?
U.S. representatives for California does not ring a bell, so probably no.
All right. Do we have slides for those or no?
I didn't do them. So.
All right.
What are you talking about? The U.S.
Because they have the state Senate, right? But then we have the Congress.
Oh, for California. Let me see. Let me see. No, I didn't do California because it wasn't in the battleground. Maybe I'll pull it up when you're reading through some of your stuff, but it wasn't in the battleground. It's pretty safe that it's going to go Democrat.
Go Democrat anyway. Okay. Yeah. And I think there was only like how many seats for Senate? I think
there's 40. Yeah.
Is there 40 seats?
Yeah. There's 40 and then 80 in the House, I believe.
Okay. All right. Because I don't think I did the slides for those. I don't recall doing them. I may have, but I don't think I did. But I'll double check. But in the interim, I guess let's go to.
Do you know who your representative is for the Senate seat out here in Sacramento?
For Congress?
For the California State Senate, yeah.
Let me see. Not off the top of my head, I gotta be honest. That's why I'm going through this ballot measure right now because they redistricted and did all that redistricting and so forth.
Okay. And anybody else who doesn't know who your state representative is here in California, I'm posting a link right now. Find your rep. So what you do, you can go to that website, findyourrep.legislator.cal.gov, put in your zip code, and it will tell you who your assembly and Senate representative is currently. So that's a good tool for that.
I think it's Angelique Ashby, I want to say.
Oh, she's running. Okay,
so she's on the District 8 or something like that.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but
that sounds about right.
Let's see. So, where we at? Okay, so we have the state Senate, the U.S. Senate,
battleground.
The battleground. But we don't have the California Senate, correct?
Yeah, right. I mean,
no, I'm just asking. We don't, from your understanding. We don't. Okay. So I guess you want to go to the House now or the State Assembly?
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
Focus on that. Figure out who those candidates are.
All right, so let's see here. Man, a lot of stuff going on, family. Okay. House. Where we at for the House? Here we go. Okay, so this is for the House, the California U.S. House. So if you're only familiar with like how government is set up, because you know, government 101. So each state should have their own representatives for the electoral ballot that represents your state. So we're actually gonna go over this a little bit, but if I'm correct, California has 52 congressional districts here that represent the California, represent California here in the state. So there's a difference between the House, which represents on the federal level, and then there's the state, which represents your state side. Hope that makes sense, family. I know, most of us will probably say, I already knew that, but for those that don't know that, going into this, there is a difference, right? So we're going over the House, which represents on a federal level for your state. All right, so let's get into it. So on November 8th, 2022, voters will elect members from 52 congressional districts to represent California. Compensation $174,000 per year for regular members, $193,400 for majority and minority leaders, and $223,500 for House Speaker, who is likely to be one of 2 Californians. All right. So, wow, that's interesting for House Speaker, huh? Because who is it Pelosi? Is she the House Speaker right now?
Yes.
I think Pelosi is currently the House Speaker, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. So, qualification: strong interest in crafting legislation is a plus, though strictly speaking, it is not a requirement. Sufficiently persuasive to make the specific concerns of your 760,066 constituents a priority for most of your 434 other colleagues. As a 2-year position with the opportunity for renewal, applicant must be willing to be in constant campaign mode. Unlike your counterparts in state government, applicants are not required to reside within their district, but it does look like a little weird if you don't. All right. That's what, according to Cal Matters. Some of the hot key races, according to Cal Matters, is District 3, District 9, District 13, 22, 27, 41, 45, 47, and 49. All right, let me see if I got this slide up. Okay, cool. So here are some of the hot races here for the U.S. House. We have Kermit Jones, which looks maybe be like Kim Folk. Kermit Jones, Democrat, District 3. Kevin Kiley, Republican. Those are in District 3. In District 9, we have Josh Harder and Tom Patty. Josh Harder's a Democrat. Tom Patty is a Republican. Republican Josh Duarte and Democrat Anna Grays, District 13. District 22 is Rudy Salas. David G. Valadeo is Republican. District 27, Republican Mike Garcia, Democrat Christy Smith. District 41, Ken Calvert, and he's a Republican. Will Rollins, Democrat. District 45, Jay Chin, Michelle Steele, Republican. Jay Chin's a Democrat. District 47, Republican Scott Bow and Democrat Katie Porter. And looks like we have Democrat Mike Levin and Republican Brian Marriott, District 49. And so basically District 3 is kind of like in the, I guess if you're looking on the map, it'd be more on the east, kind of heading up a little bit like northern-ish California, all the way down on the east side of the state, like down to like the mid to lower part of California. And then District 9 would be kind of like the Bay Area. District 13 would be like in the Salinas, Fresno area. And it looks like District 22 is in Bakersfield. Santa Barbara, District 27 is in Santa Barbara. In Los Angeles, Districts 41, 45, 47, 49 looks like those are in the lower part of California. So those are some of the supposedly hot races here in California. If you guys have any others, you live in the state of California, drop in the chat maybe who's running in your district. Let us know so we can keep an eye out on that as well. And
yes, and that link that I posted earlier, I'll post it again. Not only does it help you find your Senate seat representatives, it will also give you your House seat representatives as well. So I'll just put that in again for anybody just joining us. Just type in your zip code and it will let you know who your representative is.
All right, so the one that they didn't mention is a Sidney Comlogger, who's running against Jan Perry. And I definitely want to mention this because we need to get this sister in. So if you in that district, District 37, which is currently, I believe, held by Karen Bass, please, Sidney Comlogger, we need her support.
Yeah, she authored the ACA3 or sponsored it or something, but was really trying to end indentured servitude out here in California. Didn't happen, so we won't have her in that seat the next go around when we try to push it back through. But I'm sure she'll be great because she's running for this position. So
exactly. Yeah. So speaking of that, so it looks like Karen Bass. Oh, wrong one. There you go. Karen Bass, down in Los Angeles. This is a really hot race, down in LA. Karen Bass is running against Rick J. Caruso, which I believe is the current mayor of Los Angeles. So yeah, this is going to be a big one. I mean, if any in the LA family down there, if y'all know if there's anybody else running for the mayor, please drop us in the chat to let us know if there's anybody else that we should be on the lookout for out of these two. But we just wanted to bring this because we are a state, we follow state politics as well, not just our local, and I guess technically national and international too, right? We follow some new stuff. So for our LA family, definitely let us know what we should be looking out for down in there in Los Angeles, because Los Angeles is heavily populated, right? So this is a very powerful position down in there in Los Angeles. So definitely let us know about that. All right. So we got the US. Let's see. Did we do any on this? Let me see if I did any on the state assembly. Because I think there might have been some. Wait, what is this? Okay, no, that's not it. There might have been some. Yeah, so it looks like we did some state assembly stuff. Okay. So we're going to go into the state assembly now. Now with the state assembly, before I go on, let me see what's up in the comments first. See if anybody got. Okay, hold on a second. So Root Tracker says, I'm 46 District Alpha. I will check the link. I want to see who's closing the borders. Ha. All right. Let's go with some of these quick. Nope. There you go. All right, so we're gonna go on the state level here in California. Some of the hotkey races are District 7, 20, or 7, 10, 12, 20, 22, 27, 34, 35, 40, 47, 70, 74, and 76. California State Assembly. California's larger green carpeted legislative body is cleaning house. All 80 state assembly positions are open to aspiring lawmakers eager to represent their corner of the state for the next 2 years. Wow, so all 80 state assembly positions are up. Qualifications, immunity to decision fatigue required, as you will be casting as many as 3,000 votes a year. Budgeting experience A+, you will pass a state spending plan every year, likely to exceed $200 billion. Commitment to lengthy and transparent policy making, unless you get a spot on the powerful Appropriations Committee, where you'll debate everything beforehand, behind closed doors, and then pass or kill all the bills at once. Humble enough to represent nearly 500,000 people, a population larger than Wyoming's, and still possibly be unknown to anyone who isn't a lobbyist, reporter, or politics nerd. Compensation, $1,119,702 per year for rank and file members, $128,680 for second ranking members of each party, $137,655 for the speaker and the minority party leader, plus a per diem of $200.11 as long as the assembly meets once every 3 days. So California Matters says, so say goodbye to 3-day weekends. All right, so let's actually go into some of these hot supposedly key races for the state assembly. So District 7, you have the Democrat Ken Cooley, the Republican Josh Hoover. Districts 10, you have Eric Herrera, Democrat, and then Democrat Stephen Nguyen. District 12, you have Sarah Amizadi, who's a Democrat, and Damon Connolly, who's a Democrat. Let's see, Sean Kamage, who's a Democrat, and Liz Ortega, Democrat. That's District 20. District 22, you have Republican Juan Alanis and Democrat Jessica Self. District 27, you have Republican Mark Nicholas Pazin, and then Esmeralda Soria, who's District 27. She's a Democrat. District 34, Republican Tom Lackey, and then Thurston Smitty Smith, who's a Republican. That's 34. District 35, Democrat Jasmeet Baines and Leticia Perez, who's a Democrat. They're both Democrats. That's 35. District 40, Democrat Pilar Chavo and Suzette Martinez Valadares. She's a Republican. That's 40. 47, Christy Holstage, who's a Democrat, and then Greg Wallace, who's a Republican. That's 47. Deidre Thu-Ha Nguyen, who's Nguyen, who's a Democrat, and Tri Ta, who's a Republican. That's District 70. District 74, you have Republican Lori Davies, and then Chris Duncan, who's a Democrat, and Lori Davies is a Republican. That's 74. 76, Christy Bruce Lane, who's Republican, and Brian Maestion, Democrat, District 76. So yeah, so these are pretty much the hotkey races in the state of California. For more information, you can check that out on calmatters.org. Just look up the state assembly, and actually within the calmatters.org, you just type in your district or your, I believe it might be, don't quote me, your zip code, and it will tell you who's running for the state assembly in your district.
Okay, I'm District 10 because Eric Guerra is on my ticket. I saw him. Oh, matter of fact, Darlene is in the house. Saw him at the Delphonics concert that we went to. Gave him some information on reparations and our documentary Reparations Now. And he asked me, if which district I was in. He was actually, asking for my vote. So I'm like, let's make this an exchange. And actually, I need to follow up with him next week on something that I need to reach out to him about. So yeah, it's definitely an exchange. My vote is.
For sure. All right. Now did we go? I know the only thing we haven't gone through is the U.S. California representatives for the state. I don't know, Kim, if you have that available, if you can pop that in. We already went through some of the Senate races for the national highlights. Let me was I supposed to do the highlights for the assembly? I think I was, right?
That was me. I think so.
Let's see, midterm U.S. Senate highlights, gubernatorial. Did we do any gubernatorial highlights or no?
We did.
Here we goes. I had the state Supreme Court right here. Dang, there's a lot going on, family. And we mentioned Comlonger. We mentioned that. I just want to make sure that we have everything else. Now, I don't know, Kim, maybe we could do the Sacramento, like just do a pre-recording on that one. Because, that it's not a lot, but, maybe we can do
that. I mean, we can cover Sacramento at a later time.
Yeah. And you touched on did we touch on Stacey Abrams or no?
I don't think we've spoken about her.
Okay. So anyway, I just wanted to bring this up real quick. There was a tweet going out. I know people she's been going back and forth in terms of, does she support reparations or does she not support reparations? But here's a couple of her tweets as of late, and one of her tweets was, it says, other communities will no doubt also benefit from more fairness and equity, but directly tackling our issues shouldn't require denying others. We have too much power at risk to be distracted by false choice battles over crumbs. She says Black voters deserve leadership that sees them, serves them, and believes in them. I am committed to investing in our families and businesses and delivering tangible benefits to our community. So, family, if you're out there in Georgia, let us know what's going on with that race. Because, there's been some back and forth. Does, Stacey Abrams support reparations? Does she not support reparations? I know we got a lot of family out there in GA. Hopefully they will be having a reparations state, commission maybe to start, and then some proposals to finish out there in GA as well. So yeah, family, if anybody got any info about Georgia, definitely let us know. You can hit us up at etmmediagroup@gmail.com or just put something in the chat right now. But yeah, I thought I did the I guess I didn't. So we'll follow up, family. Maybe we'll do a part 2 on this. And if we can't do it live, maybe we'll just pre-record it and then put it up for the national hot races.
What are you looking for?
Well, I'm looking for the U.S. Hot races because I thought I did it, but it looks like I did do it.
The hot assembly races?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because I thought I did it and I just can't find it for anything.
Let's see.
Because I know there's some hot races going on right now for the assembly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought I did it, but fam, we just, as a matter of fact, Kim and I, we went and recorded last night. We had an event that we had to attend to do, and so fam, we're just trying to juggle as much as we possibly can with the limited resources. But that's why we got y'all, so you can keep us informed as well, because this is community based. And here, let me see if I got something here.
Yeah, I've got the page up, just a little bit of information on what's going on. There are 37 U.S. House battlegrounds in 2022. Then it gives a list, so maybe I'll just drop a link into this page. There's quite a few races there going on. They also break it down to U.S. House races with 2 incumbents. 2 incumbents? Okay. So holding more than 1 seat. Let's see. What else do we have here about this House election?
Kim, do you have the link with you? Did you put it in the chat already?
No, I didn't. I'll put it in the chat now. But it's just a full Congress link, so it's not all the detailed information, but it does give you some information on the U.S. Senate and Assembly.
Yeah, sorry about that, family. We were trying to get that one done, but my bad. I didn't get it done. But we'll definitely do something on the hot races for y'all. That's what we do. And we'll definitely
yeah, or let us know if there's any hot races that you're following, anything that we should be keeping an eye on and helping raise awareness on.
Yeah, for sure. So I think we went through all the propositions here in California, some of the hot races in the U.S. That's going on right now. Yeah, if there's anything else, definitely you guys want us to talk about, want us to know about the upcoming races. If it's in your city, local, that we need to do some research on, or if the family needs to know about, definitely let us know. So we can start spreading the word.
And we've got these governors, but since we're going to do a recap on some House stuff, why don't we just save that, the governors, till then? Matter of fact, in the chat, I'm going to post again the link to the Newsom debate against his challenger. I forget his challenger's name, but it's at the KQED YouTube channel, and it should be starting shortly. It should be starting at 1, so it might be starting now. If anybody's interested in checking that out.
Yeah, for sure, family. So definitely let us know. We appreciate y'all for coming through. And just be, do your due diligence. We're coming up November 8th for the election. So make sure you know what's going on in your local, in your state. And, because you might be the determining factor in what happens in your locale. So hopefully this was informative. Hopefully, we're not telling you how to vote. You can vote however you want to, but hopefully this gave you a little bit more information before, if you haven't, I don't know. I'll just be curious in the chat if y'all have already voted, because I know at least here in California, we've already received our ballots, or you should have received your ballot. If you haven't received your ballot, just let your county definitely let you, know that your ballot should be available to you. And if you're not registered to vote, regardless of where you're at, please do so. because voting is your right, and you can use it for your own sense of purpose. So definitely do that.
Yeah, and I'm with Root. Need to research who some of these closed border candidates are a little more closely. If you know who they are, let me know.
Definitely, for sure. Well, family, I think that's about it. We may or may not do part 2 of this, because we might actually concentrate more on local, Sacramento, and then some other follow-ups to like the governor's stuff, national stuff. So we'll see. We might actually do a part 2 on this.
Yeah, just stay tuned. Tuned. Hit the bell for all notifications. You never know when we go live.
Facts. So on that note, if you want to check out the California debate with Governor Gavin Newsom, and yeah, I forgot dude's name too.
Darlene put it in the chat, so it's Brian Dell.
Okay. So Newsom against Dell. That is the chat in there, so y'all can check it out.
Yep, it's the only debate happening, the only one that's scheduled. So that is happening now. So we will let y'all go get to it.
All right, family. Well, on that note, you guys have a great one. Love, peace, and reparations.
All that good stuff.
The way it currently stands, forced labor, slavery takes precedence over rehabilitation and public safety.
Oh, by the way, while the Biden administration gives reparations to everyone but free people, look at the billions he has run over to Ukraine.
We don't have black grocery stores because if you think about it now, just to get in that supply chain, it's almost unheard of.
They don't want the truth to get out. Okay? I don't want to know what my family did or what all these people did and all this stuff like that. Okay? You read that 500-page report.
There's this thing called white superiority and black inferiority. That mindset allows all of the behaviors that we've seen across generations, allows for the construction of these policies and practices and systems and structures that continue to oppress us. This is not a handout. This is a debt that is owed.
You know, Allensworth was like the internet of his time in 1904, 1905.
The total black population in California is about 2.6 million, and then of that, the descendants compose about 2.2 million of that. So California, with a multi-billion-dollar surplus, can absolutely afford to satisfy the international terms for reparations, beginning with compensation.
Any financial obstacle that exists that impedes the success of increasing financial prosperity needs to be dealt with and eliminated.
No matter where we've been, no matter what part of this fight we've been in, we've been harmed, and we've had harm done to us specifically.
When I got to Los Angeles, this was some of the worst segregation I'd ever seen. And remember, I'm telling you, I'm from Mississippi.
Because as you can see, I'm giving you broken history right now, you know? But I had to give it to you guys today. I said, no, I got to show them this because it's so precious and nobody really knows about it.
Black people don't have that kind of luxury. Our historically black communities have been redistricted multiple times.
Now listen, if you can't handle the TR roof, don't tune in.